you're there, if you can hear me loud and clear, please type a yes in the comment section. Oh, good morning, Elijah. Any other person? I want to be sure we're on the same page. All right. Good morning, Zico. Good morning, Paul Obasi. Good morning, Madam Onaji, Grace Eneyo. All right, let's get started. So today is Wednesday, the 18th of December, 2024. We have just exactly 13 days to end the year. And we're looking at our morning analysis, and we'll look at the fundamentals, then go over to the technicals to see, tradable instruments for the day. Now, fundamentals, we have just one fundamental for this morning session, and that is coming up exactly by 8 a.m. That's roughly some 54 minutes away from now. CPI is Consumer Price Index and is one of the major economic indicators in the Forex industry. If you want to look at the details, I'll click the details button, and I can see here that this news measures the change in the price of goods and services purchased by consumers. And actual greater than forecast is good for the currency. So what that means is that by 8 a.m. this morning, the forecast data here shows 2.6%. If the actual, which will be released by 8, if the actual is greater in the sense that if it's from 2.7% and above, we'll have a bullish movement on the pound. And if it is less than 2.6%, that is from 2.5% and below, that means we'll be looking at an opportunity to sell the pound. It's just as simple and straightforward as that. Though we do have extra filters, which we'll look at from the technical angle on the bigger time frame to also guide us in taking the best trading decision. And later today by 2:30 p.m., we'll have news from the United States, that's building permits, and it will be followed by 4:30 p.m. with another news from the United States, which is the crude oil inventories. And later tonight by 8 p.m., there will be the FOMC. This is the main FOMC event, federal funds rate, FOMC economic projections, FOMC statements, all will come up by 8 p.m. And by 8:30 p.m., there will be FOMC press conference, all of them on the dollar. And later tonight by 10:45 p.m., there will be the New Zealand gross domestic product. But then that is not really going to be our focus. Our focus today is going to be more of this morning session, the GBP, CPI in the morning, and the other dollar news in the afternoon. So I'll flip now to the technicals to see what we have for the pound. Now, my main concern is this morning session, and that's where we're looking at the CPI from the United Kingdom. So I'll flip now to the MetaTrader platform so that we'll look at what to expect for the pound. Now, for this news this morning, I'll be focusing a lot on the GBP CHF. That's my primary instrument I'm putting my attention on. And what are my reasons for looking at this instrument? This is the GBP CHF on the daily time frame, and we can clearly see that price, hit a resistance level yesterday, and it closed on that resistance level. This is the third time price is touching that resistance level, and that was last night, and price closed as a rejection candle on that resistance level. So that tells us that technically we're going to be looking at an opportunity to sell the pound. So if the news this morning comes out as an actual less than forecast, that means we'll get the trigger we need to pick a sell trade on the GBP CHF. So with that, I would say that we are bearish on this GBP CHF for the news that we're expecting, for the CPI we're expecting this morning. So let's put that in mind as we anticipate the release of the data. We are bearish on the GBP CHF. Now, there are other GBP news that will also react. But like I said, my main focus is going to be the GBP CHF. Like GBP USD may react to the news, and GBP JPY may also react to the news. But I maintain my focus as being the GBP CHF. So I will not want to bore us with all that. Now, the other side you now ask is, what if the news comes out, actual greater than forecast? Now, when we have the rejection candle up here, if you flip down to like the 1 hour time frame, this is actually giving us a lot of interpretation of a head and a slight shoulder pattern, which would trigger a bearish movement. However, if the news comes out as the data being good for the pound, yes, there could be some slight bullish movement where price will go and hit that resistance on the daily, but eventually it is still anticipated that price will move downwards. So what I would advise you do is that you wait till 8 a.m. and wait for the release of the data. If the news comes out as an actual less than forecast, that is with the color red, you can safely trigger a bearish trade. Price will move more bearish than bullish. So that's where our emphasis and our focus is on the bearish direction, which we are seeing from the daily time frame. So we are bearish on the GBP CHF. All right, so that's it for the news, for the pound news in the morning. Now, there are $2 news in the afternoon, and that takes me to the technical. Now, for the technical, it looks like a lot of the CHF pairs, the CHF is actually very strong on them, very bullish. So that means that most of these pairs I'm looking at now will look technically bearish because CHF says is bullish, is very strong. Rather, let me use the word strong. So you have GBP CHF being bearish. Euro CHF is being bearish, and even USD CHF likewise is being bearish. So I'll look now at both the Euro CHF and the USD CHF from a technical angle, even though the USD CHF might still eventually work for the fundamental, but then let's just quickly look at them. Now, for the Euro, okay, let me start with the USD CHF. Now for the USD CHF, this is the USD CHF on the daily time frame. And just like what we saw on the GBP CHF, price also closed as a rejection candle on a resistance level on the daily time frame. So technically, we're going to be looking at an opportunity to sell the USD CHF. At this moment, this is more from a technical angle. However, in the afternoon, when the data is released from the United States, if the actual comes out less than the forecast, that will lead to a further confirmation of a bearish movement on the dollar. But from the technicals, which I see now, we are bearish on the USD CHF. And finally, on the CHF pairs, we are equally bearish on the Euro CHF. I don't know what's happening. The timer is beeping. We have just less than 10 minutes to go. So, but I'll touch everything I need to touch. Now, for the Euro CHF, we can see we have a descending trend line. If you take it out to the weekly time frame, it's actually forming a rejection candle. But then on the daily, we have a descending trend line where price touched the trend line yesterday and reversed. And if you go down to the 1 hour, this is what we are seeing. And this one clearly is forming more of a head and shoulder, which would lead to a bearish breakout. Now, I'm going to drop a signal right now for Euro CHF. You can take it. Like I said, we have a very short time, so I will encourage you to take it very fast. I'll drop it also in the funded group, so those are the funded group can take it. I just dropped a signal now in the comment section for Euro CHF. We have a sell stop order. We have a sell stop order on the Euro CHF. You can take that right now with a TP1 and a TP2. So we're bearish on the Euro CHF because we're expecting that head and shoulder to break out in the course of the day. All right. I'm trying to post it also right now on the funded group. If you're there, you're not on our funded group, you're missing a lot. We do drop more signals there. All it requires is that you are funded. So if you're on the platform, you're taking PE price signals, you are not funded, well, you won't get much of that. The best is that you are a funded client and you have access to more signals, not just more signals, but high quality signals from professionals with years of experience in the industry. So I just dropped it in the funded group also, so you can pick it up from here And that's it. So we're bearish on the Euro CHF, we're bearish on the US CHF, we're bearish on the GBP CHF, that because that's what we're seeing on the technicals. That's what the technical is saying at the moment. And I'm also bearish on the USD card. Now, all the setup I'm giving, they are all intraday. They are 1 hour expected to trigger in the course of today. It's not swing. They are all, intraday. Now, for USD card, price is trading around a resistance level on the weekly time frame. Price just hit that, resistance level on the weekly time frame, and and we're expecting a decline. We're expecting price to break out downwards. So if the news in the afternoon from the United States, if it comes out not to favor the dollar, which we're expecting for the USDCHF, that will also help to trigger a bearish breakout on the USD card. So whether the news or not the news, we are bearish on the USD card. We're looking for an opportunity to sell the USD card. All right, so I've looked at the analysis of the news by 8 o'clock, where I said we're bearish on the GBP Then technically we're bearish on the USD card, we're bearish on the Euro CHF, we're bearish on the USD CHF. Now I'll look at BTC, USD, and DJ30, and I'll take one or two questions, and we'll close from there. Now this is my outlook on the BTC USD. BTC USD made an all-time high of about 108,000, I think yesterday thereabouts. Then it's currently is in a kind of a retracement. Let's still call it a retracement for now. Now you can see there's a rising wedge pattern, which is a bearish pattern. However, price dropped and currently is testing a support here, a resistance here. So we say it's testing the key level because it's a resistance here, it's a support there. Price is there again as on a support. Now, two things could happen. If price is able to break this support, then we'll have a further bearish movement on the BTC. That's on one side. Now, it's possible this support level may hold and price may bounce and still come down later, in which case it will have formed a valid head and shoulder pattern. That is still also possible. Either an outright break, a head and shoulder is also possible. But the top possibility is that this support level may hold and price is unable to hold that level, and the price may reverse. That's possible. You may see a reversal or a retracement to test this trend line and still come down, or an outright reversal. Because we should not forget that the overall long-term trend for BTC now is bullish, and it's more of a fundamental movement in the market based on the promise of the adoption of BTC by the new president of the United States, that's Donald Trump. That is what is causing all this movement. So overall, fundamentally, it's still bullish, but then with what we're seeing now, trade BTC with caution if you're a BTC trader. So I've given the outlook of my expectation for BTC. And finally, I'll look at the DJ30. Now, we've been on the DJ30 for a while now. Yeah, I said it yesterday that if it drops to touch this lower trend line on the daily time frame, then we should be ready to see a bullish movement. And that has finally happened. And if it got very, very close to it, if not touching it outrightly, it's still very, very close. The tip touched it here. So you can see some slight bullish movement. So all things being equal, we expect a breakout in the bullish direction up there. And that should happen when your RSI crosses, above 50. RSI is still at 48, so it's still not yet time to trigger a buy. But I believe maybe in the course of the day, if there's sufficient volatility in the market, we may see some little retracement, then we should have a final breakout. So I'm bullish on the DJ30. All right, that'll be all from my end. We have exactly 3 minutes to go. I'll take one or two questions briefly as we round up. Any question, just go ahead and ask. Good morning, Mr. Lassisi. Rebecca is asking about gold. All right. Now, from the beginning of the week, the major pairs have not been too stable because dollar seems to have lacked direction. But now we're having FOMC today. Now there's possibility that the market might still be a bit quiet, though some volatility is expected because of the news in the afternoon. Now this is gold. I remember telling you yesterday that my view on gold is that I believe price should drop first to this support zone before we look for a further movement. And from a technical angle, I will still want to hold on to that. This is 1 hour. You can see it's not really following patterns. It's not staying within trend line. It's just gold is just doing its own thing. So I will advise you wait. Maybe in the afternoon, if the now we're bearish on the USD card, we're bearish on the USD CHF. So if the news in the afternoon is released and those instruments go bearish as we have analyzed, then that could give some volatility in gold to go up. But as much as possible, I would advise you take caution trading gold in this morning session because I believe the fundamentals is what will move it more, which may be in the afternoon. So trade gold with a lot of caution. Okay, I think I'm seeing something. Yeah, I'm still seeing something right now. Okay, for those now, I would say this is for those who are possibly like scalpers. There's a descending trend line here. You can see that, and price touched it the third time. That's on 1 hour. If you flip down to 15 minutes time frame, it's giving us a head and a shoulder. So if price is able to break the neckline, we may see some decline in gold. So let me just say that, but please trade it with a lot of caution. That's the counsel or the advice I will give. Trade this with a lot of caution. You may target the support right there. That's a possibility. All right. So in the short term, I can say we're bearish on gold. Euro USD has not been stable. It's been ranging. This is Euro USD. It's been on a range. Okay, I think that should be all. We have just some seconds to go. So please stay safe and have a great day ahead. I'll post the video, the link to the video.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, man.
Excuse me, sir. I have questions. Sorry, sir. BTC, I don't know. Did you say that temporarily maybe bearish?